Okay, so I wasn't going to shoot this late at night because I literally just drove in from the office and now I'm home. But I really felt this one burning inside of me. This thought, right? And it came off a J. Cole video that I had posted on my WhatsApp status. And he was saying to the reporter, I was thinking about millions of dollars, right? I'm trying to get his hand gestures as well, right? I'm not mocking J. Cole, love J. Cole. And he was like, I was dead broke, but even when my account was a negative, I was thinking millions of dollars because he was tired of just, scraping through life. And that must have been crazy. That must have been crazy for him to be speaking about millions of dollars, looking at where he comes from, right? Like, how dare you? Or what are you on, bro? Like, do you see where we are? And you're talking about millions of dollars, right? And I'd captioned it along the lines of make no excuses or make no apologies for wanting what you want, first and foremost, and then going after what you're willing to diligently work for, right? You don't need to make a lot of sense to anybody else except yourself and the God that gave you the gifts, which I believe are the tools to build the dream, which is the assignment that you were sent here for, right? And it really just kind of sat with me from last night that as you grow, you're going to have to embrace new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing situations, right? And that may not always correspond with the inhabitants of your current environment. You may not be speaking the same way they're speaking, thinking the same way that they're thinking, seeing the same way that they're seeing, or even hearing the same way as they're hearing. Because as you change, you're bound to read new content, right? And that new content, if it does you do assimilate it and internalize it, is going to change the way that you think. And when you change the way that you think, you start to sound different, right? And some people might confront you about that, like, hey man, I don't know about that. That thing that you said, I don't know about it, right? I don't agree with it. And that's fine. People are allowed to not agree with how you're moving now, right? But as long as you understand why you're moving the way that you're moving and in what direction you're moving in, right? And be careful of the people that are going to try and drag you back into thinking the way that you were thinking, because at some point you must have had an epiphany and gone, hang on, the way that I think, the way that I speak, the content that I consume has not produced the kind of life that I want, right? And if you find out the life that you have, awesome, that's great. If your life is on point, like, kudos to you, that's awesome, right? But for the rest of us who are literally drastically trying to change the look and feel of our lives, we're going to have to make drastic decisions. We're going to have to make, not even desperate, because they always say, desperate measures, kind of like, desperate measures and, trying to make drastic changes or desperate measures. I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm probably going to edit this out. I don't know. We'll see. But, those tough times or those tough, situations are going to call for you to have to make some tough calls, some tough decisions, right? You may find that the way that you think all of a sudden alienates you from some of your circle. And you may be confronted by them saying, hey, listen, I don't like the way that you think now, or I don't like the content that you're bumping at the moment, or you're vibing to. And I feel like at some point you need to have an honest conversation with them and actually look at them and go, if you saw the life that I'm trying to build, you would understand why I'm moving the way that I'm moving. Like, if you had an idea, if you had a picture of where I'm trying to get to, you'd get why I'm moving the way that I'm moving, why I can no longer operate at the level that I was operating here. It's because I'm going all the way up there, and to get all the way up there requires energy that is different from where I'm at right here at the moment. So that's why I'm moving different. And then you need to learn to not apologize for that, not always quit looking for people's permission to live the way that you were cut out to live. because you're willing to put in the time, right? As long as you're willing to put in the grind, the time, the energy, the resources to get to where you want to get to, you don't need people's permission for that. You're alive. That's the only permission you need. You're alive. You're in the game right now. As long as you've got breath in your lungs, you've got a heartbeat, you're in the game, you've got the permission. And that's okay. That's all you need. Like, you do not need to make any apologies for who you're trying to become, the life that you're trying to build, and the means that you're going to take. And I always say, like, obviously the steps have to be good. Like, let's not hurt anyone. Let's not take things away from people. Like, move with integrity, with diligence, right? Move in such a way that you'd be proud looking back one day, that your kids would be proud looking back one day, that your grandkids would be proud looking back one day and say, my dad did it that way, my grandfather did it this way, and I'm okay with the way that he moved, right? But quit looking for people's permission, people's approval. I know some of us are scared to death of tainting the image that we have or people have of us, right? Like, there are people who walk around with an idea of who you are, and some of us are scared of tarnishing or tainting that idea that they have of us. And the craziest thing is that you are going to change. You are going to grow. And it's okay for who you are not to line up with who they want you to be or who they wish for you to be. It's okay. And I mean this in a good way, and I mean this in a wholesome way, but I'm okay with disappointing some of you that are in my circle in trying to build a life that I want to build. I'm okay with that. And if you so feel that you want to have a conversation about it, I'm always open to it, right? I'm okay with that. Like, let's have a conversation so I can show you where I'm heading, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And if you can, be okay with that, awesome. Then because I'm gonna keep going either way, right? But if you cannot make peace with it, if you cannot be reconciled after that conversation, I still respect you, right? And two, but I'm still gonna move in that direction. And some of us need to do that. And I say you, and I speak to myself as well, right? I listen to people that I'm not the poster child for much, right? But I'd like to believe that I'm becoming the poster boy for being willing to live life on your terms and being willing to pay the price required. Yeah, being willing to pay the price required to live life on your terms. Because the rent on that is high, and some of that rent is people texting and saying, hey man, I don't know about that thing that you said. And I'm okay with that, because I love the fact that we can have a conversation about it, right? And give people, or allow room for disappointment. That's what I was trying to say. Allow room for disappointment. And that disappointment, sometimes it's not just your disappointment in the road that you're heading on, because there will be plenty of disappointment, right? But that other disappointment is when people say, I'm kind of disappointed in you. I didn't really expect you to say what you said, or say it the way that you said it. And that's okay. Sometimes you're gonna say things that are not always kosher, but in this journey, which is a journey, not an exam, but some of us are treating it like an exam. And the funniest thing is, we make people in our lives the moderators. There's only one that you stand before, and he's gonna be the one that's gonna tell you, hey, we need to roll it back, right? Everybody else, they are commentators. They're commentators. And if you're in the field, you're the man in the arena. One of the things that you cannot allow to happen is for your game plan to be shaped and crafted by the critic, by the commentator. Only the one who puts you in the game, the coach, right? He's the one. But he's the one with the game plan. He's got the hindsight and the foresight. Everybody else is just watching happen. They're watching it happen real time, and they can only comment. So you don't need to apologize for moving the way that you're moving in trying to build a life that you prize, not only just for yourself, but for the ones that you love. It's okay. It's okay for you to go after that which you want. And in the process, you are going to have to change yourself, and it's okay for you to embrace new ways of thinking, to look up new wisdom, to look up new knowledge, to examine it, to try it out, to fail at it, to prosper at it. But you don't need to apologize for daring to change yourself in your situation, and the means by which you do it, as long as they're not hurting anybody. And when I say hurting, as in you're literally going out there to physically take something from somebody or physically hurt somebody. Offense may come, feelings might get hurt, and even then we can have conversations about that. But as long as your intent is not malicious, I say go for it. You do not need to make any apologies. You do not need to apologize for who you're becoming, so that you can live the life that you know you feel deep down at the inside. They can't feel it, but you know you're cut out for it. So go for it. No apologies given. That's right. No apologies given. You know those when a video starts and it says the host of the show does not endorse or condone the thoughts and insights of the guest. No, this host of this Just a Guy podcast completely and totally endorses and condones you making no apologies for the steps that you're going to have to take, the price that you're going to have to pay in order for you to become the person that you know you were born to be, designed to be, created to be. No apologies given.